Hello and welcome. Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. And today we're going to have a look at Thailand and the infrastructure that was there around 1900 and before, and a bit of the story of Thailand because, Thailand, which used to be called Siam, is now, it's in Asia and now it's fairly much a third world country. But it's one of these countries that is covered in old world architecture, temples, and basically constructions that there is no explanation to how they built them. So let's jump in and have a look at Thailand. Okay, so we'll start with this picture. Now, this is from 1687, and it's the solemn embassy of the King of Siam to the Roi, which is the King of France, for the establishment of trade. Now, if we have a look at this picture, you can clearly see these look like Thai, they look like Thai people with traditional Thai headsets on them. Okay, and in the background here we have the French with their muskets and their wigs. And around here, they are carrying what looks like a monstrance almost, a mini temple is being paraded around. But what really catches my eye in this depiction, this picture, is this building in the background. So this is set in Thailand. This is Thailand in the 1680s. And have a look at this building. Okay, a massive, oversized, three-story masonry building. And you can see the people here in the doorways. The doorways are at least 3 times as tall as they are. So definitely oversized. But this in the 1680s, they were building this, or so we're told, at least it was there in the 1680s. But today, they all seem to be living in bark and stick huts. We come down here, you can see the alliance between France and Thailand. So we've got the King of France and the King of Thailand making an alliance for trade. And, looking at these pictures, it looks like since this time, Thailand's kind of gone downhill. Because you can see these people are very well dressed. Everything looks nice and clean, and they have massive, massive infrastructure already in place. So if we jump forward to the 1880s, these are some of the earliest pictures that we get of Thailand. And as you can see, we have masonry constructions. Now this building looks a little sunken, don't you think? Looks a little short, but look at the people. Okay, literally sitting there, and they've just got, a piece of material for a skirt. I'm not sure what the actual name is, but a wraparound skirt type of clothing, and the same up here. And in this picture, look what this guy's standing in front of. These massive statuesque type structures, which look like geopolymer. Because, now if, it makes sense, right? All these carvings we're told were carved, out of solid stone and marble and granite and all this stuff. Yeah, if you look into it, it doesn't make sense. They didn't have the tools, we're told, to do this kind of carving. If you look into the Mohs hardness scale, if you start, if you start sculpting hard stones, you need hard tools. And to do it this well and this intricately, you need a lot more than that. You need, the skill and probably machinery. But is it even possible where casting out of geopolymers is definitely possible? So this shows us the infrastructure in Thailand. And as you can see, a massive walled city, just like we see all around the realm. Same story. The only difference is, the stylization, right? But on top here, we still have this structure with the portico and the porthole, the portal window, which we're told is Greek or Greco-Romano, but here it is in Thailand in 1891. And you can see even back in 1891, apart from the fact that, look at these structures, amazing, look at all these towers up into the air, all with their spires and antiquitech on them. But the people, all well dressed, everyone's got umbrellas, okay, so clean streets. And then today, all this is gone pretty much. They're now back to a third world country. So what happened? What really happened in Thailand? Now, this is again from 1891, and this is a great photo to give us a better picture of what's gone on in Thailand. And I'm sure it's the same kind of story all around the world. Because in the background here, look what we see. Huge, very tall, multi-story constructions out of masonry, hard rocks, very ornate, all, what we're told is carved, but probably poured. We've got another couple of towers here, some more spires in the background. So very big, very solid constructions. We've got some domes here as well, archways. So a lot of features of the old world, but in the foreground here, what do we have? We have the people. And as we can see now, they have completely regressed, right? They do not have the technology that could have built these buildings in the background. All right, they've got these little boats, they're paddling around. Their houses that they're living in now are made of wood and bamboo and reed roofs, thatched roofs. They still seem to have the traditional styling, the roofs and things, but now everything's made from wood. Okay, and like this little shack here, just made from planks of wood. And this is how the natives are living. But in the background, you can see that at one time, this nation, Siam or Thailand, was building huge megalithic constructions. Here's another picture just to show you how the people were living. Okay, this was their everyday life. They're just on the river, fishing and trading. But as you can see, look at the bridge here, made out of bamboo. You can see all the bamboo scaffolding here, houses with thatched roofs made out of wood, and the whole place looking a bit disheveled, not like a clean, well-made megalithic city. This is not what we're seeing here. But as we go forward, you'll see that surrounding these people in the same country is massive megalithic construction. So we get back to the question of who built all this, because it definitely looks like there was a different culture, at least in this region back in the past, who built completely differently, had different tech, and they could build massive structures that are still standing today, while the people of Thailand are living in bark and grass, are living in wooden and bamboo huts. Here is another shot from 1891, when it was still called Siam. It changed over in 1927. And as you can see, this is, what we're told is a temple. It's a traditional, what we call is Thai, which is actually Siam or Siamese structure here, and covered in what look like antiquitech. All of these ether antennas, including a huge one in the middle, big spire going up. We've got all this sort of fractally compressed architecture, completely ornate and all, carved out or cast. And this was in the 1890s and clearly already built, already established. So when it was built, I'm not sure. We even have an electric light here. Well, a light. I'm not sure if it's electric, no doubt. 1890 it could have been, but if this was gas, where's the gas bottle and the pipes and everything? And back in, with the story we're given, having a gas system going up to lights would have been fairly dangerous, right? Like, how were they regulating all the gas, because you can imagine if something went wrong, the whole system could have exploded. And you can see this building is actually quite huge. So this was complete and standing in 1891, at the same time that the people were living like this. Okay, so something has gone on, as we know. Here's another shot just showing you this is their boats, how they were getting around, and the dress of the people living in the countryside, I guess. You know, the population in 1891 again, you know, we just got dirt here, you know, no port or anything. And here we have some more of their tech, right? We have water buffalo pulling the carts, wooden carts. Nice wheels, I'll give them that. But still, it's just wooden carts drawn by water buffalo. And this is where they were living. As you can see, there's no ports here. This is just mud. There's even a bit of a ladder or, you know, a stepway down here to get to the water. Boats in the water and just drug up on the side of the banks. So that, you know, there's no infrastructure for the trade or the fishing as to do with the water. You know, we've just got all these boats tied up, you know, sticks randomly everywhere. Just, you know, pretty much a mess. In the background, you know, the houses look pretty good, but they're still pretty much, they look like wood and bamboo structures. So this is in the countryside of Siam in 1891. And this is also in the countryside of Siam in 1891. Okay, so look at this. Completely, you know, it's been swallowed up by the jungle. You can see there's a tree growing out of the side of this. This is brick. Okay, I'm not sure if it's mud brick or fired, but you can see this is all brick. Okay, from way down here at least, probably lower, up to here, and I would say the whole thing is probably a brick construction of some kind, and then it's been covered with extremely ornate exteriors. And as you can see, completely swallowed up by the jungle. Okay, literally trees growing out of the side of it. But this structure here is pretty much exactly the same as this structure that we see in the background here. And look at this. Huge structure in the city, all clean or cleaned up maybe. And it's exactly the same as this structure that is clearly at least centuries old, or at least sitting in the jungle for centuries. Because you can see, apart from all the growth and, you know, actual, you know, quite large trees here. Look at this one growing into the side of it, another one here, other ones out the back. So pretty big trees, and you can see how dilapidated it is. So this is in the jungle. And of course, this is a photo opportunity photo. It looks like they've just found it and uncovered it. So what this is looking like is a reset country. And we've had this nice infrastructure there, and at some point, it's been a reset, and some of it has been covered up and lost, and some of it hasn't. Or maybe it all was, and they've just come in at some point and cleaned up all the cities so they can repopulate it. Again, now here we have another structure. You can see the size. This is a person. And look, we have a massive Thai Buddha in the background here. Now, we're told that this is Buddha, you know, even though he looks nothing like the other Buddha, you know, the fat Buddha that we see, the Tibetan Buddha. So they tell us it's Buddha, but is it? You know, it does actually look more, you know, Indian or Sanskrit godlike than the Tibetan Buddha. But look at all these pylons as well. They've all been snapped off. You can see they've just been broken off. This one's got a massive crack in it. And we have this amazing temple. Again, they do look very, you know, Indian, just in the way that they're so ornate and the shaping of them. Now you see stuff like this all through India. And they did tell us there was a connection. You know, so what's the real story? Was there one, you know, large empire or kingdom or whatever, maybe part of Tartaria, who knows? But it looks like there was some bigger empire that was connected down through to India, because clearly they had some similar cultural aspects, including their architecture and building style. But on the top, what do we have but an ether antenna? Bit of Antiquitech for you. And you'll notice balls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls. What's in there? Are they full of mercury? What do you think? That shot is from 1891 as well. Another one from 1891, and here we have it again. Another huge old world construction that's basically been left to rot and fall apart and has been, well, starting to be reclaimed by the jungle at least. We don't know how much this has been cleaned up since, but it's definitely got trees and bushes growing in the walls. You see here, you know, it's sort of falling apart. Look at this. It's basically, it's like a mini pyramid, right? Or the top of a Vimana, maybe. But basically very old, right? So time that we have these old constructions, you know, out in the, you know, the forests and the countryside of this same time period. Okay, and look at this. It's really the same kind of construction, you can tell. And these are obviously just, you know, these are just antennas everywhere, right? Popping up, you know, built very well, very ornate, but clean, right? And they haven't been left to rot. So it looks like some of the buildings, some of the infrastructure has escaped the reset or whatever it was. It may have been wars, they may have been taken over. I mean, clearly a lot of their territories were taken over by France in the 1700s. And then, of course, we had the coup where we're told it was a Thai person who's come in, taken control, not overthrown the king because he's still there, but basically formed a Western style parliament and changed the name to Thailand and introduced a lot of westernized, you know, practices, and as far as the legal system and the type of government that it had. It's moved from a kingship or a kingdom basically to a democracy, a Western style democracy. It sounds a lot like some people's coming in and basically taking over. And I would say that to do that, they would have had to find Thailand in a state of disrepair. And we see that in the photos, right? We see these amazing constructions, and at the same time, we see these constructions, and this is where the people were living. You know, just bamboo huts, basically, with leaves for the roof, basically palm fronds. All right, this is their infrastructure for a dock, just wooden, you know, nothing like we see in the cities. This is another one that's been swallowed by the jungle. And this is looking similar to Angkor Wat. And you can see it's pretty dilapidated. This column's been cracked in half. They've both had the tops knocked off. This wall's basically fallen over. We can see it's brick, definitely brickwork. You know, so who was making the bricks? Who was laying the bricks? Who was making the mortar? You know, how did these get constructed? You can see this brick wall here as well. It's sort of falling apart. So this is how some of Thailand looked, and this is how other parts of Thailand looked at the same time. These are both 1891. And when I look at this picture, what I see is this looks like a collection. It looks like people have gone around and grabbed all the good stuff that wasn't broken and they're storing it in one place. And I think this is where museums come from, ultimately. It's just collecting the old world, putting it in a place, and then they figure, oh, hey, let's just charge people to come and see it, and we'll use it to give them a different story, a different narrative, to program them into believing a different history. But everything here present in 1891. So this was all made prior to 1891 in what is now called Thailand. And this shot as well shows us another, what looks like, collection room. It's either that or a production room, right? Because all these Buddhas are the same, but they're exactly the same. They look like they're probably cast, you know, in geopolymer or something. We've got the Thai Buddha in the middle and all the monks surrounding him. But look at all these. What are these, lights? These look like light fittings. Actually look like they're from the 70s, right? And over here as well. So this This area looks like where they've been going through, they've found stuff, and this is where they're storing it. And in the background, check out how ornate all this, what we're told is carving into stone is. Very intricate, like I said, like India. But was it carved? Is that even possible with the tech they had at that time? Or was it maybe cast? This is a shot of, again, of Siam, 1891. And you can see, again, big stone temples, which are oversized. Okay, look at the roof height here. Before we, cut it off before the spire there. It's twice as high at least as this building down here, which is made from bamboo, as you can see, bamboo roof. This is masonry, bricks and stone and cement and geopolymers and things. You can see more of them here. Stone chimneys, but look at the build out in the countryside or out in the city. Big tower here, big tower here, a few more. And then we even have this old church. Look at this, an old stone church, looking very cathedral-like in Thailand in 1891. And again, this is what we see when we look at this time period in Thailand is all the infrastructure, all the construction, all the architecture, it's the same. It's all oversized, it's all masonry, it's all ornate, got the spires, all that kind of stuff. It's got that Thai styling to it, at least what we're told is Thai. But this one looks very, very old. It's got plants growing out of it everywhere, cracks, all the paint's pretty much gone. Got some birds, looks like a vulture, living on top. But this huge construction, massive doors, this looks very old. But at the same time, we get things like this in the cities. This is literally the same year. So what's going on here? It's like there's two different populations, isn't it? It's like there's, the population that are living in the nice cities that have been cleaned up, or maybe, they were just looked after over time. They've never fallen into disrepair. I don't know. Either that or they've come in and they've fixed them up. But you can see here, this all looks, brand new almost, right? Whereas this looks like it could be 1,000 years old. At least, like it's been sitting there for 1,000 years, collecting patina and plants. We have constructions like this, the Church of Diauta, I think that's how you say it, Diautia. And, look how Western this looks. You could plonk this church in any city, in Australia, Europe, North America, and it wouldn't look out of place. These things are everywhere, but this is Thailand. And have a look at how big it is. These are people. Okay, so this door is like 4 times as high as a person. So, 24, 25 feet. And the ceiling's even higher. And just sitting out by itself in the middle of the jungle. Here we have the King of Siam on the royal throne. Now, this one is 1926. So this is basically the year before he was thrown. He lost all his actual power. The royal family still do exist in Thailand, but they're really just figureheads now. They don't have any real power. It's all run as a Western democracy now. So they can tax people and make laws and destroy the old world. We know the rap, right? So this is the coronation of the king. And you can see lots of people here, but look at this building in Thailand. Now this, I think, again, was the 1920s. Haven't got an actual date on this, but it's a few years older than the other photos that we were looking at. But look at this building. You could put this would be at home in England, right? Or anywhere in Europe, no problems. But Asia, a third world country, where's the explanation to the culture, the civilization that built like this? Because this is the same civilization, same style that built out the whole world. Another shot, here's the king up here, got his Admiralty law captain's hat on. So he's sold out. So that's, this is what happens. You don't have to take over countries by war. You can do it through subversion and legalese, right? And of course, look at the building that he's in front of, just about to enter. Elephants in Thailand. They used to use them a lot for building, construction, tours and things. The king used to ride on them. And they're cruising around looking at these old sites. We have a picture of a bridge, I guess, a bridge on the top, walkways underneath. Again, massive, massive masonry constructions with, all the old features, right? We've got the archways, got these pillars. You can see the pillars there and the walls. So there's someone hiding. All the so this is a bridge, you can see. So got a child here. She's just got, ratty pair of pants on. And look at the bridge. This is made of iron, riveted iron. So who put this together? This isn't, again, 1891. Here we have another huge construction, a hotel in Saigon. And these are from 1895, these pictures. And look at this construction. Again, so similar to what we see all around the realm. But here in Thailand in the 1890s, when there's no explanation as to how it was built, or how could they even build it, or why, or even, they give us a date, but we all know the deal. They just write a date on it. They never can explain how it was built in that, time frame, who built it, where all the materials came from, who were all the workers who actually built it. We normally just get a name, right? Name of one person who they attribute this building to. Here again is the church in Saigon. Oh, actually, this one may be a different one. But again, it's exactly the same as what we see in Europe. We've got 3 doors here. We've got the cymatic rose window, arched windows here, and big spires on top. Always the same story. Here's another building, the Hotel Le Compagne. And this is sitting on a canal. The canal Suez. Suez? Don't think it's the actual Suez Canal, but Suoz, I think is what that is. And, this is what I was talking about before. This is right on the water, right? So this is built up to the water, man-made water's edge, man-made bank, and big old world building. And, but, we've only got one yacht out here. Thailand was, famous for fishing and trade water. And so why isn't this a harbour? And we saw those pictures before where all the boats were actually kept and there was no harbour. So it doesn't make sense, right? If this was a building that was standing there, why wasn't this the port for all the boats? When instead we just see them on a river, in mud. But this was there at the same time. So it looks like we're looking at 2 different cultures here, which I believe we are, right? The old world and the new world. Again, some more elephants. This is a parade of the King and Queen, 1927, just before he got overthrown. And I have no idea what this is. And again, here are some traditional Thai people doing some dances and things, but look what's behind them. Old world, massive arch, old world ironwork, these pillars. It's just such a juxtaposition, isn't it? The old world here and the people here that have come and inhabited, the new world, basically. More elephants and more amazing architecture in the background. Look at these things. Okay. But again, the people living in squalor. Here is an old map of Siam, and look at this. So this is the island of Java. Look at this boat. It's got like a temple in the middle of it. So that caught my attention. Very interesting. Galleon of the King of Spain. Looks very Thai. They're saying that's the King of Spain's. But our elephants, and up here, Sumatra, and this is Siam, and here Thailand. And what do we have in Thailand? And this is from 1686. This picture, and you can see there's big antiquitech cities or towns drawn on this map. And what do we see in the pictures? We see the same thing. We see that those cities were there and mostly still are there, but people are just taught to ignore them. Yes, there are star forts as well in Thailand, but I will cover that in a upcoming video. And so there we go, just a quick look at Siam in the 1890s and before. It's now called Thailand. And as we can see, the pictures we find, the photos we see do not match the narrative. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment down below. And also, please give me a like. Share this around if you like this kind of information. And let's help get it out there and let everyone know that history is alive. It's not our, his story. So thank you for spending some time with me. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Come!